What's up, everybody? It's Big Rob back again. Kyle and the man of honor, Tim Oz. I'm gonna keep saying Oz.
Ozgener.
Beautiful.
You've almost got
fresh
it.
kicks on too.
Oh yeah, this man's
I
got
did
the
that.
freshest of kids.
I did that just for you guys.
That's
I knew I was going to be here with Kyle and Big Rob.
you had to bring out the heat. So today we're here for an amazing experience that I'm very excited for. The Behind the Blend experience.
Yep.
First up, you've all got your Behind the Blend experiences.
He's leaning in.
You've got your Behind the Blend
Dangerous.
experiences from LA Cigar Collective, so you're welcome and thank you. First off, these are beautiful kits, by the way,
Thank you.
with the Karatoba, the Firsat,
Yep.
and then your Peritos, and also you get an Oz family cutter and lighter. This is incredible. Like what else?
You got to cut and light somehow.
Man. All right, so
And the
let's take it
booklet.
away. And oh yeah, let's
There's
not
the
forget the booklet.
That explains what we're doing.
This will take you on the journey. But if you have problems reading, like I do, you're about to get taken to a paradise with this gentleman that's sitting right here. So let's kick back, light up, and put some smoke in the air. So
All right.
welcome to LA Cigar Collective, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you. My pleasure to be here. This is how this kind of all got started is that I grew up in the business. I mean, actually, since my father was like an Armenian born and raised in Istanbul, Turkey, close to where he was born and raised in Istanbul was a city called Eskişehir. Eskişehir is between Istanbul and Ankara, like in Anatolia. We're talking about Anatolia. And in this city called Eskişehir, they would get these pipes. Well, they wouldn't get the pipes. They'd get the minerals, which are these stones. They're white. They're small crustacea that formulate into a mineral. And it's about the size of your fist, but it's highly absorbent. Like you put it in a bucket of water, the stone will float. It'll absorb the water. It sinks to the bottom of the pail, and then you can carve into it any shape or face that you want to. You dry it in a kiln oven. You cover it with beeswax. Then when you put tobacco in there and you smoke it, it'll absorb the tobacco and it'll feel cool in your mouth. And then the stone of the which is called meerschaum will start like turning color, honey brown, eventually like black. And so my father started CAO, finding the best carvers, finding the best quality meerschaum, getting them carved in Turkey, getting custom cases for them in Istanbul, shipping them to Nashville, and we would ship out of the basement of our home. Like my sister and I, to earn our allowance on the weekends, would help my dad packing and shipping pipes to pipe stores all over the U.S. Oh yeah, we started that in 1968. He was a mechanical engineer at DuPont, and then it used to be for briar pipes, wooden pipes, you would just shove in and pull out the stem, right? And so my father is analyzing microfibers at DuPont, and he's like, well, this is a big-time idiotic way to do meerschaum is so fragile. You shove it in, it will crack the pipe, the shank. So he was, working with microfibers. He made a kind of a male and female bit part where you could twist in, twist out the stem. He went to a tobacconist in the Carolinas who had like a few stores. He was there for a, engineering convention. My dad's like, I need pipe tobacco and a pipe cleaner. And he took apart the pipe. And the tobacconist is like, where'd you get that pipe? And my dad's like, well, I made the fitting. He's like, can I order some from you? And my dad's like, listen, son, when you are Armenian, you never say no to an order. Like, how many you want? I give you a deal, 12 plus 1 plus hubcap. So like,
Plus hubcap.
so then people started calling our house in Nashville saying, hey, I want this pipe that's a high quality pipe that has the custom fitting. Oh, put your initials on the stem of the pipe. So my dad went to a hardware store, got an electric bit, and then drilled CAO in there. But then we became known for having the highest quality pipes. Then we got into humidors. And then when we got into cigars, again, I'd been working in the family business off and on like my whole life. And I ended up being the guy that would have to go down to Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic to figure out our blends. Our first CAO blend in 1994 through 1998, like none of our cigars were like really hitting it. It wasn't working. So I would go visit stores like y'all and I'd be like, Kyle, Big Rob, how can I sell in your store? And you'd be like, okay, he's a nice guy. I like his dad. I like his sister. This sells, and I'd buy them from you. And so I started to get knowledgeable on what does the market want? What does the tobaccos taste like? What do they have to look like? What's the price point that needs to come in at? And then I would go to Central America to work on the blends. So in the end, we kept building all these blends, and finally in 1998 we had a blend that kind of people liked. And then we kept doing stuff and tweaking stuff just because we'd had years of failure, honestly. And so we learned and we were, I think, humble and determined people to figure out, like, okay, what can you do that works? So in the end, at CAO, we had like 41 different tobaccos from 21 different global regions. So that's quite a lot. So my father's like, write it down. Einstein wrote it down. You are no Einstein. So I'm like, okay, I'll write it down. So I would go down to Central America, and I told them, I said, I want to try all the tobaccos on their own before they're blended so that I know what these tobaccos, it's like spices in your spice cabinet. I know what cumin tastes like on its own. I know what cinnamon tastes like on its own. So for me, that was a very practical and rewarding exercise. And whenever I've gone down with people in the cigar business to do stuff like this, like I went down with our salesman in 2022, and I asked the factory we were going to do this exercise. I mean, it dominated the sales meeting. We didn't get any sort of sales work done, but everybody got excited about blending their own cigars. So that's why I was like, well, and it's hard to go down there, you know what I mean? It's fun to be down there and you learn, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, to go down to Central America, go to factories, go to like hot climates in the fields. So I figured, okay, why don't I bring some of this, a portion of the experience, to the States and to stores by doing these events. So that's kind of what this is an attempt to, is to try to bring an element of, like, what do you have to know if you wanted to blend your own cigar and make your own cigar. And we're not going to be smoking 41 different tobaccos.
Yeah,
we're smoking
shucks.
We're smoking 4 different tobaccos. So that's kind of and to me, like you were joking to me about, like, this booklet is just basically a notepad for people that want to do like I did and just write down and what comes to mind. And so it really is like about what may come to mind for you. It might be different from you. It might be different from me. And it's all fair because it's all like subjective, So what we're doing here is, this is an attempt to try like 2 different components that go into this cigar, go into the Firsat blend, 2 different components that go into the Karatoba blend, and to try to like discuss and identify qualities in the materials and you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you get from the final product.
Yeah, and talk about like the details around that. Because at the end of the day, cigars are, it's like art meets science. There's a science, there's a methodology on how these tobaccos are prepared and made. And a lot of that might have some variability, but for the most part, like, there's some, constants in it. But then when you blend them together, then that's where the art comes in, and how you package it, how you present it. So, hopefully people enjoy this, but that's why I wanted to bring it.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience to actually offer too.
Yeah,
like breaking down.
So I actually thought, at my first look at the book, like each, when you start breaking down into regions and you give information about the terroir and all that stuff like that, that's really cool information, So I think the book's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what really stuck out to me, was like all this information in here, with the map and all that stuff. So
yeah, and a lot of it was inspired by wine tastings that I'd gone to.
Yeah,
where you you find out about where the wines are from, because a lot of this has to do with subtlety and nuance and microclimate, which is also super interesting.
Oh yeah.
But if we wanted to jump in and start smoking,
yeah, let's do that.
Like, the idea is that, okay, if I go, so these 2 that have codes on them, they're not cigars. They're 100% one type of tobacco from one particular microclimate and from a particular position on the plant. So when people think of the tobacco plants and you divide it in thirds, like the bottom third are Seco leaves, SECO, middle third Viso leaves, top third Ligero leaves. and varying degrees of thickness that go with that too. So I've done this before. This is like part 2 of me doing a behind the blend type of tasting. On the first time I did it, we had a Seiko leaf to try. This one, we're actually going to start with a Viso leaf. So this one we'll start with is labeled like J as in John and V as in Victor.
We actually have a tobacco plant outside.
Oh,
Right-
do you?
right
Right
outside
outside
the
the door,
door,
that's
yeah.
a tobacco plant.
Oh, really?
Viso is on the bottom. I mean, I'm sorry, Seiko's on the bottom.
Yeah,
Viso is
Viso.
in the middle, and
And
then
then
Ligero's
Ligero's
towards
on
the top. Yeah, so
That
What's the
blend
difference?
is coming soon.
What's
And
the,
it's already cut, by the way. This one. These are
Oh.
these are already pre-cut.
so what's the
But
difference?
again, this is not a cigar. This is just you getting the
The leaf
tobacco.
component.
Like if I'm buying the tobacco from you, you'd be like, "This is what it smells like." You smell the leaf, and then you roll one right in front of me, and we smoke it. So sorry, Kyle. What were you saying?
No, I was just if you could give the audience maybe just a little breakdown of like the characteristics between Seiko, Viso, and
Yeah.
Ligero. The positioning on the plant, but also like strength,
Yeah.
combustibility, flavor, and how that tracks going upwards on the plant.
Well, I mean, Seiko is going to be the thinnest leaves because of their proximity to the sun. It's further away from the sun, so they tend to be thinner leaves. They have flavor to them, but it may not be as strong of a flavor as you might get from the tobaccos that are closer to the sun. Viso is in between, like the next level up. They'll be a little bit thicker in their texture, but they'll possess like a little bit more body.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top is Ligero leaves. Ligero leaves are closest to the sun. They'll be thickest, especially when we're talking about like sun-grown fillers at this moment. So they'll be thicker. They might be rougher looking. It'll take a longer time for you to ferment, but typically they'll be like the strongest in flavor and in strength.
Really? Okay. I've always heard that Seiko is the most flavorful.
Well,
Has the least strength. And that Ligero has the most strength but is like the least flavor forward. It's like more I don't know. But
I think it's all variable, right? Because it's variable depending on like what's the seed,
the climate.
where is it grown.
Yeah.
The other thing that's crazy is that, like, let's say that this is a field here, right? And then there, across the street might be a little bit of a different kind of maybe the elevation is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say this block has one flavor, but the next grid, if you looked at it in your
It'll be
Google Maps,
completely different?
might be different. Might be completely different. Might be subtly different, but it'll be different. So typically, you go down there and they'll have these. Let's say that it's from Esteli. Then in Esteli, there might be like one field that you'll have a different kind of designation for or a sub-name for, as opposed to another field that you might own that might be like right across the street. So,
These are giant burritos, by the way.
well, so these JV Jalapa. Jalapa is a very well-known, well-respected region in Nicaragua. It is, so if you go from Managua to Esteli, it's about 2.5 hours, like northeast from Managua. Then if you drive another like two hours, let's say, maybe 2 hours plus, to go from Esteli to Jalapa. Jalapa is like then northwest of Esteli, right on the border of Honduras. And the soil there is well known for it being browner, finer, like almost like a light brown, powdery. The tobacco that you're getting from there tends to have a bit of a sweeter flavor to it, and they grow tobacco at a higher elevation in Jalapa.
And all of that changes the taste of the actual tobacco, because like you were saying, different areas have different things, so the elevation can also change it.
Elevation can change it too. Now, in this case, again, we're smoking, and it's a rough-looking purito here because you would never want to have this on a cigar. I mean, this is filler only.
Yeah. And even if it was a wrapper, I mean, this was just quickly rolled up to give you to let you taste the tobacco, right? Like this wasn't like a normal cigar. They would stretch the leaf and really take their time with wrapping the cigar. Whereas this, it's more of a.
You're just trying to get the flavor off the component.
But even if they stretched the leaf on this, it would still have this kind of rough
Sure.
look.
This is how my cigars looked when I rolled on my kitchen table.
Yeah, I did some rolling myself, and this still looks better than what I did.
But the question is that a few things to think about is that, first of all, how does it taste? Does it taste more for you like, is it on the sweeter side? Is it on the more peppery side? Is it metallic? You know, what's
Very sweet. It's like a creamy sweetness.
I'd agree with that.
Really rich.
I'm not getting any kind of pepper or anything.
It is very rich. It's just like the booklet says, really. I guess I cheated and looked at the booklet first. I should have not looked at the booklet, but to me it's the book hits it spot on. I mean, it's rich, it's creamy. There's a touch of spice on the retro.
Yeah.
But nothing like crazy. I see this being like an amazing blending component. I mean, it's
a lot of it. Funny enough, I mean, I don't know, but I would wager to kind of guess that Jalapa has a presence in a lot of cigars on the market. You know what I mean? It's a nice tobacco to use in blending a cigar.
Sure, yeah.
Because of what you're smoking. So this is the whole thing, is that like when you're smoking it, you can write down exactly what we're talking about now, so that when you or anybody else goes to a future cigar event and you're smoking something, you may not even have to talk with the person that's there representing the brand. You could probably be able to identify on its own, saying, okay, it's like no different in wine, saying, okay, this tastes like, if it's a blend, you'd be like, okay, this has Cabernet in it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think that this is kind of like, almost like kind of like an essential grade for wine. Chardonnay, Cabernet. I mean, this has like kind of, okay, this has properties that taste like a Chardonnay, for example, or a Cabernet, or whatever it is, you know?
It's almost got like characteristics to me of like a Habano wrapper cigar, like what you would expect on like a Habano, but without that nuttiness. Like this has more just like a creamy.
I was about to say more creamy.
And sweetness like a Habano gives, but it's without the nuttiness of it, you know?
And what I like to do in this also is I like going back and forth.
Yeah. Sure.
You know what I mean? So like you start this, go to the next one, and then you have something to compare it to. Because if you smoke this, now that you have it down, and I mean, I'll encourage people to like, I always forget this. At the events, I should get pins made. You know, because I don't have pins for people to like,
pins,
to write stuff down like my dad was saying. But the next one is CE. That is Connecticut, Ecuador.
Ooh. And
so, I mean, this is actually, so this again would be more like Viso, like position on the plant. Viso, or a tad like upper Viso, because it's a bit more tan in the coloration. If you went a bit lower on this, you might get more of like a yellower color, and this is more of a tan color.
Sure.
For this.
And the more up the plant you go, the smaller the leaves get, right?
That can vary on what is the seed that you're using. What's the seed
varietal?
What's the seed varietal that you're using?
Okay.
And also, sometimes these tobaccos are shade grown, and sometimes they are not. They're sun grown. So, for example, like this shade, they call it Connecticut shade, was grown in the Connecticut River Valley, traditionally with cheesecloth, so that the tobacco would grow taller, you know, seeking the sun. The leaves, even the oils, are seeking the sun.
Wow.
You know?
What a stark difference.
Yeah.
You're right. So this definitely has like that sting.
Yeah.
To your nasal on the
When you
retrohale.
retrohale it.
Definitely way more spice on this one.
And again, this is Connecticut, Ecuador. Now, sorry to interrupt you, Carl, but in Ecuador, where this is grown, they have like, when it's being grown, is they almost have continual cloud coverage. Therefore, you don't have to have a cheesecloth over there. So it'll naturally, the variety of this plant will grow taller and seek the sun there, and you don't have to put the cheesecloth up there.
Yeah, this is like, it's not like a pepper spice, but it's like a sting, almost. It's like it's sharp.
Yeah.
There's sharpness.
And this is like right off the light up. just
Yeah.
Well, and again, this
Yeah,
this
right.
wrapper, this wrapper doesn't have the reputation of it. Like when you're selling it to people, they think
Mild.
they automatically they think mild.
Yeah, right.
But-
That's not necessarily the case. I mean, some Connecticut's can dry your mouth out and have that sharpness, which makes it good with like coffee and stuff because it's kind of like a balance that you're doing,
yeah.
you know?
And you mentioned something that I didn't mention that's important. Is that like, does this make your palate dry? Does it make your palate salivate? And all of the tobaccos, because we never talk about
Yeah.
this cigar is mouth watering. We never say that in the cigar world, but actually, at a lot of foods and stuff like that, you would say that. All right, this is a mouth-watering steak, for example.
Oh, there's some cigars like
there's-
if I'm doing something outside of my house, I can't have it in my mouth because I'll drool. Like I'll get the cigar wet because my mouth is producing. So
and then
much
other ones
water.
that just dry the mouth out.
Yeah, and I always have found that the ones that dry my mouth have that like tannin effect. I like in the morning more than the evening.
The other thing about when you're tasting these is I'll say that, like, however it was when you first light it up, you almost have to, like, forget about that, Because after the initial thing, then you really get into, like, okay, what is the underlining characteristics and flavor? It'll start you'll start being able to put your finger on more from a taste standpoint. What am I perceiving here?
So the Connecticut also has a little bit of like that barnyard kind of, especially smoking them back to back. You get kind of like that hay kind of aroma
Yeah.
to it, And these balance like when you take a puff on one and then puff the other, you see why it works.
The other thing I love having people do is have folks like smoke them both at the same time, because it looks goofy, but it's amazing how they what happens when you pair them. And then you have to think, for you, does this work together or not? Like,
Whew. That was a lot in my sinuses just now.
like if you put them both like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do they balance one another out? Do they work well together? Do they not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
They're
does
not like competing with one another.
does the Jalapa Viso take a bit of the edge off the bite, right?
Smooths
From
it
the
out.
wrapper?
And
Yeah.
it's so funny
Because
because
of the creaminess of it.
before this, I would have told you the opposite. I would have told you that the Connecticut tones down the Jalapa because it's from Nicaragua, right? So like I would have
Right.
been like, oh no, the Connecticut brings down the Jalapa, but it's actually the other way around.
See, now you know.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you learn. So that's the benefit
Yeah.
of this.
exactly.
So,
yeah.
like, if you were down in Nicaragua and you were blending your own cigar, you would automatically know that going in. So you'd be a step
That is wild.
or two ahead of other people, because this is kind of like you're learning by doing.
Sure.
I mean, this is basically like a bit of a
Trial by fire.
this is a bit of a cigar education scenario.
And it's crazy. Instead of just doing like one at a time, whenever you do both at one time,
Makes a big difference.
just molds it together perfectly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim, in the fact that if let's say I were to go to a factory, right, and I'm messing with a blend prototype, and I say it's a little but you have a
Harsh.
Jalapa Viso,
Yeah.
that could tone this down and maybe complement it or whatever. So
Right. So now that you've known that, you can go to this, and this has the Connecticut Ecuador wrapper, and the Jalapa Viso is a component of what the filler kind of structure is of this. Now I'm going to use your bullet.
the
Oh.
moment we've been
How
waiting
about that?
for.
Perfect punch time.
Now which size punch do you like?
Oh, first one.
First one? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And before this experience, if you would have asked me what Purito do you think I would favor more, I would have definitely said the Connecticut.
And I would have said jalapa.
and I definitely like the jalapa. I feel like this is delicious just on its own.
Well, again, it's all like really relative. You know what I mean? Because like when I was when I took our sales guys. In this case, we went to the Dominican Republic together. This was like in 2022, and we did this. They literally had they might have smoked at least 19 different burritos.
Okay.
But one of them was you have 4 different wrappers to choose from. It was Connecticut, Mexican San Andreas, Habano, Ecuador, and I forget what the other one was. But it wasn't Connecticut broadleaf, I can tell you. But almost universally,
Probably like Habano or something.
yeah, universally the one that was the best liked was Connecticut, Ecuador.
Really?
Because Connecticut, when you compare it, the other one's just straight wrapper. It has a brightness and bounce to it, and vibrancy to the wrapper on its own.
Mm-hmm.
That stood out.
Okay.
You know, and so everybody was like, "Wow, this." You can ask Brian. Brian was there for that.
It's so crazy that like smoking each one single, and then as soon as you do both of them together, changes everything. Like the way it like blends together.
So
yeah, now that I'm lighting up the Firsat, I really see it come together.
well, and here's the other variability of it, like we talked about earlier, is that like these have had the benefit of like sitting around and aging and letting these tobaccos marry.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just 100% one style tobacco.
Now in the blend breakdown of the Firsat, what is that blend breakdown? Obviously, it's Connecticut
Ecuador. Yeah.
Ecuador wrapper, and you have a jalapa viso
That's
in the
right.
filler.
Mhm.
So what else is in that bunch and binder?
Well, I mean, you know, there's omotepe a little bit in there,
Okay.
you know, to give it a little bit of spice. I mean, honestly, like, I'd rather leave it up to the imagination for people to like
Okay.
figure out what's in there other
Yeah.
than those. But I mean, typically a blend will have like you have wrapper, binder, and typically you'll have at least 3 different fillers in there, at least, if not 4. So,
Excuse me. That sinus cavity's waking up.
That Connecticut
but it's all
Connecticut
It's all
burrito.
Nicaragua.
Wow.
just threw me. I'm not even gonna lie. That threw me. Just I didn't expect it to be that sharp on its own.
Well, how is it? How is it in this format?
Well, it's there, but it's not as intense. Obviously, you know, it's smoothed out by the other tobaccos.
Yeah.
A lot more, a lot creamier.
Yeah.
And it's had the benefit of like just sitting and aging
Mm-hmm.
and letting them marry.
I
So,
would say like almost like marinating.
but this is a style of cigar that like my father favored because of the fact that it was. I mean, it's easy to smoke.
Sure.
You can taste the sweetness on it. It's got a bit of a bright flavor to it. And let's face it, I mean, a lot of people are smoking cigars when you're outside. So if you're outside and you're doing any kind of activity, like, I mean, I like to hack it up on the golf course. I'm not a good golfer, but I want to smoke something that is like, you know, easy to smoke, pleasant to smoke, something that makes me feel good while I'm struggling. I mean, right,
Not something that's
Or-
going to make you struggle while you're struggling.
right.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, definitely, like when you're in the sun, when you have exposure to the sun's on your skin. It might be warm outside. I'm not trying to smoke a Maduro when I'm getting blasted by especially the Louisiana sun. If I'm sweating already, I'm not trying to smoke something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad's favorite size in this was a 7x54, like a double Corona, true double Corona.
Yeah.
And when you smoke that in this blend, it's like great. You pick up more of the sweetness and actually more of like a butter flavor.
Okay.
It's really cool. I think it's because of the fact that it's a longer cigar, longer for the smoke to travel down. So by the time it hits your mouth, it's like
Cool.
it's
like
cool, and you also get an accentuation of the sweetness in the butter.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, when the ring gauge changes, the ratios of these fillers change as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
So it may not be the ratios or the percentage of filler ratio isn't going to be the same in a 50 ring versus a 54 ring. It may not be drastic, but it is different.
Yeah.
You know.
But we did this also because I was doing like events, when I first got back into the cigar business all over the country. And even though I'd probably say, based on what I know about y'all, like we tend to like complex, medium to fuller bodied cigars, there's still a lot of people that came to me and saying, "I really want something that's more mild to medium." So this is meant to be really a mild to medium bodied, predominantly Nicaraguan filled and binder cigar that has a lot of flavor but still has that mild to medium profile.
Yeah. And it's funny, I typically start the day mild and then go stronger as the day progresses, but we started today pretty full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In another video we did, where we smoked, probably altogether a couple of cigars that were full bodied. This is not lacking in the flavor department
not at all.
No,
even
not at
after
all.
smoking two full-bodied cigars. So that is a common misconception, I think, as well, is that you have to go stronger like I do. It's just something that I do, but I don't think it has to be that way.
This would be the equivalent of like if you want to have a buttery Chardonnay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hot outside. You're not necessarily going to gravitate towards a Cabernet Sauvignon, right? You're going to gravitate more towards a white wine. Do you want the white wine to be more sweeter and more buttery, or do you want the white wine to be more dry?
Sure.
So this would be like if I wanted to drink like a Chardonnay that more kind of focuses on like kind of the sweeter, buttery kind of texture, flavor profile, as opposed to one that's like more acidic and dry.
Another cool thing is like whenever you're smoking this, like you can go back and revisit these as you're doing it to try to like pick out those flavor notes that you're getting from each one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, actually, when you do this, I think it makes your palate more acute.
Yeah.
Right. So you can be more specific about and saying, okay,
Yeah. This
I
is
can
what I'm
taste
picking out.
the sweetness in this. Okay, I can taste this has got more of a maybe some you might have said earlier like more of a caramel kind of note to it. Maybe I can pick that up from this. I think it makes you kind of being able to identify with more specificity, like what am I picking up from here from a
So I was
flavor?
saying, whenever you're revisiting these burritos, you're like, all right, that's where this is coming from. This is what I'm getting off of this.
I can tell you this. After this experience, I'm a big jalapa fan. Because this is...
Never thought I'd hear that before.
This is delicious.
Yeah.
This is like that rich caramel type flavor. I mean, this is...
And by the way, if you smoked, I did a previous iteration of the Behind the Blends, and we had a jalapa seco, and the jalapa seco is much more subtle than that.
Okay.
The jalapa seco would be more, I would describe as like definitely subtle, definitely more powdery in its sweetness. And this one might be a little bit more, you feel a bit more of the caramel kind of notes come out on this comparative. You didn't taste as much, let's say, caramel on the seco as you did the Viso.
Sure.
Subtle difference.
Okay.
So now what I usually have people do is that if you want to cleanse your palate, like you have carbonation, you cleanse your palate with something, and then we can go to the next one. We can still come back to these too.
Yeah.
I mean, the next one we're going to smoke, and again, one thing I didn't describe with the second one we smoked, Connecticut, Ecuador. So you see this is like in the central part of Ecuador where they have a lot of cloud coverage. Typically in these countries, they're close to the equator. So they don't have winter. I mean, it's either the rainy season or it's not the rainy season.
Right.
So in Ecuador, where this is grown, when it's raining a lot, if the proximity of the fields are close to like these rivers, the rivers can like flood. When they flood, there's like, in some of these regions, particularly like where you're getting like, not all the regions of Ecuador, but some are like close to like these hillsides where the erosion from the, and the minerals from these hills can go into like where these tobaccos are being grown. And so that lends to a different minerality of the soil that kind of gets conveyed through the plant and then into the leaves.
Yep.
And leads to a bit of a unique flavor.
Right. And that's why they tend to I mean, I've heard, they tend to grow tobaccos in valleys for that reason, right? Because you have these mineral deposits happening from rain down
Yeah.
mountains and stuff like that. Like in Connecticut, it would be the Connecticut River Valley.
So much of it is in like the uniqueness of the soil where you're growing these tobaccos,
Yeah.
and what ultimately. I mean, yeah, you have to have like fertilization that you do as well, which you want to have like obviously all natural fertilizers that you're utilizing when you're growing these tobaccos. But a lot of it is like relative to like the soil.
Sure.
What's in the soil that makes these taste the way they do. Now, mine on this next one, we're moving. So we went from Nicaragua to Ecuador, and now we're going into Dominican Republic, and now we're moving into the top third of the tobacco plant, the Ligero, that's closest to the sun. So this is a Dominican Ligero. It's a Habano 92 seed of this Ligero. Kind of in the central part of Dominican Republic. More if you're really central, kind of northern part of the country. And you see how rough this tobacco is. I mean, it's perhaps like the ugliest looking tobacco, roughest looking tobacco of the bunch so far.
Yeah. It's got character.
Yeah.
This has more of that Dominican funk. It's more earthy.
A lot of people think that like all Ligeros are going to be very, very strong. They're very, very peppery, particularly in the retrohale. But this particular Dominican Ligero is a bit unique in that, for me at least, I'm not getting like a big kind of. The retrohale is not overtly spicy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, this one's real earthy and like leathery.
Yeah, I can retrohale this whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I retrohale a lot. So
Me too.
yeah, I'm kind of, my poor nasal passages are scalded probably. I'll always retrohale. But this is easy to, yeah, this is very nice.
I mean, there's a little bit on the back end,
Yeah.
but nothing
Yeah.
obnoxious,
Yeah, nothing overpowering.
nothing overpowering.
It's like a tingling you would get if you were to eat that like horseradish almost. Like, you know how it'll like tingle
Never eat
your,
horseradish.
with raw oysters?
No.
Oh, well, it's like it'll like tingle your sinuses kind of. It's kind of like that same thing. It's like a tingle, but it's not like a pepper or anything.
But as you kind of smoke it, I do pick up more.
There's sweetness there too.
But look at how this, look at the combustion quality of this, by the way.
Not great.
Like, it's not great,
No. Yeah.
right? So this, to me, is, like, interesting because, like, imagine if when you're making a cigar and you're looking at a cigar from a bird's eye view, you know what I mean? If you put this tobacco on the outside of a cigar and then you put Seco or Viso in the middle, then what would happen is that like the middle would be burning faster
Yeah.
than the
Start tunneling.
outside, and then that's the classic tunneling. So this kind of illustrates, hopefully, to people that like, okay, when you're making a cigar, there's a certain logic, structure, anatomy that you have to follow, meaning that the thickest leaves have to be exactly in the center of the cigar, and the leaves that are thinner need to be placed. The thinnest leaves need to be on the outside of the cigar so that it helps the cigar burn evenly.
Yeah.
Like those leaves on the outside help the thickest leaf, which would be this,
Mm-hmm.
burn, at the same pace.
Yeah. It's like a combustion aid. like a Seiko
Right.
is used as like a combustion aid around the perimeter of the cigar. And sometimes when you look at like, certain blends or cigars, if you, like you were saying, from a bird's eye view or like down the pipe, right, from the
Right.
foot of the cigar, sometimes you can see there's like a darker leaf in the middle, So not on all blends and not on all cigars, but I've done that where I've looked and you can kind of see like one of those leaves is darker in the middle. And not to say that Ligero is always darker, right? Because
Also, when you ash it, though, you can see where, like, the cone of the cigar
Yeah.
or the cherry of the cigar, right, what's holding. And that typically will be the thickest leaves. In some cigars, they may not have any Ligero in them.
right,
I mean, there are a lot of blends out there that just, will have Viso might be the thickest leaf.
Yep.
On purpose.
Yep.
They want the cigar to have a certain flavor, a certain profile, and maybe they don't want it. Maybe they feel like we don't need to have a Ligero in this blend at all. It's actually quite common.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a Ligero necessarily for every blend, and
Sure.
not all Ligero is going to be really kind of strong and peppery. Like this one, I don't find to be that
No.
kind of,
I agree.
But I guess like what flavors do you pick up from this?
I got a lot of earth leather. I was expecting whenever you said what it was that I was going to get hit with a lot of pepper. But yeah, I agree with Kyle with the sweetness on it.
The combustion is really bad.
Yeah,
Like you have to almost prime it a couple times to get it going.
that's right.
But yeah, it has like it's not like a pepper, but it's kind of got like that horseradish effect where it's like kind of a sizzle kind of on your tongue and in your sinus cavity. But it's like sweetness and like barnyard type, like hay.
It has a little bit of a property to me, like when you have like roasted meat. You know what I mean? It's got a little bit of like
Savory.
kind of savory, the savoriness you might get from like eating something that has been roasted.
So yeah, look at the
Yeah.
combustion on there. It's not wanting to burn like a cigar because it's not. It's a
Now-
burrito.
I think we should move because we'll come back to this. Like I like smoking the next two together.
Yeah.
So this next one is Sumatra seed that is grown in Ecuador, and I mean even you look at this, like mine is kind of rough looking.
Sure.
Like that's the same wrapper as what's on this, and look how nice and oily and smooth this is. So that means that like once you get this is in its kind of like raw form, and you want to ferment it more,
Correct.
so it becomes more like this.
They say that's a big part of, like factories, like buying tobaccos from brokers, like that fermentation, that additional fermentation process is kind of what separates like the men from the boys sometimes is that extra fermentation. I mean, if you look at this, and I don't know how well you guys there, you can see it in your kits, the difference in shade, in the smoothness. It's a big difference. I'll shut up and light it up now.
Yeah, I'll be curious to get your first impressions of this.
So this is Ecuador, right? Ecuador,
Sumatra seed,
Sumatra.
grown in Ecuador.
This has a little more kick to your sinus cavity, but it also has like a sweetness to it, like a chocolate sweetness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would go great with some espresso.
No, I mean you're getting definitive, like as opposed to the other one. This has a sharp retrohale,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's not bad. I don't think,
No.
especially after the first. Well, the first light you got to like.
Yeah, it
That's
almost
why I
made
say
me
the first,
tear
the
up a
first,
little
the
bit.
first light you gotta get past it
Yeah.
because you're dealing with like also even in this like you may be dealing with the tip factor
Where it's got all that flavor.
where you have like more of the nicotine in the tips of the tobacco that may be placed here. Even this is just 100% that one tobacco. Once you get past that, then what do you pick up? You know. Still, it has a sharpness in the retrohale.
I have a lot more sweetness on this one than the last one.
There is a lot of sweetness, though. You're right.
And that's crazy because that first, I mean, I really ripped into this thing. The first light pull, and it almost brought tears to my eyes. The retrohale, but this now is like really silky. The retrohale is actually like, and I don't know if that's my nasal passages again succumbing, or it's just like you said, smoothing out now.
Yeah, this has a nice, but it's almost like now, when you get into sweetness, like what type of sweetness is it?
Like almost like Rob was saying, like it's like a dry chocolate,
Dry dark chocolate.
malt kind of sweetness to me. It's kind of like it's like a dry type.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not.
It did calm down for that initial.
It's crazy. That first puff
one
was
just
serious.
Just makes you have to go.
Yeah, now if you're going to have to relight the DL, unquestionably. So now once you get used to what this is on its own.
I mean, look at how great this is combusting.
Yeah, this one's smoking way better.
And is it? Do you know?
Again, this is wrapper quality.
Do you know
Here.
if this is what priming this is?
I don't know exactly what
Okay.
priming it is, but I would imagine again you're looking at like
It can't be
Viso,
like
Viso, but like the upper portion of the Viso. And again, I mean these two are the combination of what we use in Karatoba, but in Karatoba you're talking about you've got a binder in Karatoba that's Jalapa, right? And then you've got fillers that are from 4 different regions.
right.
Right, 3 from Nicaragua, and then you got 1 that is the DL.
Oh, that's so loud.
So how does it change when we smoke them both together?
Turning that dark chocolate more into that milk chocolate that I'm used to whenever you're smoking the finished Karatoba. And it like balances each other out perfectly. But it's crazy how it's so different to where if you're smoking one, you're getting one thing, and you do this, you put them together, and then it evens everything off. Not saying that there's rough edges, but like it smooths.
So it gives you the idea of like what it's like to blend. You have to actually you typically don't do this. You have to imagine what it's like to combine stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Now if you smoke this Karatoba, I mean, it's like you just did there, except you see the difference. This is a Sumatra Ecuador that has been fermented longer, so look how much darker it is.
Oh yeah.
Than what you get here. You know? It evens it out. The veins go away with the tobacco, time, water. It evens it out. So the filler that is in the middle, in this case, is the DL that we just smoked, the Dominican Ligero.
I love whenever I like this. Every time. It's like, I always say it's like a damn candy bar.
Yeah, plus you have other tobaccos that are in the filler. And by the way, the binder on this is Jalapa. Now, the binder of this, you want the binder to be like not so thick because you want the binder to burn well, right? So it's coming from a lower plant position.
Every time you like this, it's just
Yeah.
chocolate.
If anything, it makes it also, just this experience makes it how apparent that wrapper is in this blend, even though it's just one leaf around the outside, how prominent.
What kind of like prominent,
Yeah.
and like the influence that the wrapper has around this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really the name Karatoba is like a made up name, right? The prefix Kara. I wanted to call this cigar black because the very, very first cigar we made at CAO was called CAO Black. So I thought this would be like a going back to the roots type deal, but so many cigars in the market
Yeah.
are called black.
Sure.
So Kara as a prefix is Turkish for black. Toba is the most volcanic lake in Sumatra and Indonesia. And even though this tobacco is not Indonesian, the seed is Sumatra.
Right.
It's just grown in Ecuador.
Okay.
But you can sense when you take these components and then you marry them and you let them kind of age together, where we were just talking like minimum 3 months, ideally 4.5 months, by the time that you make them, and then you want to age them before they get shipped to us in the U.S.
So damn good every time.
I definitely think that, you guys did a great job with the kits, picking the wrapper tobacco and this filler tobacco, because I can taste both. And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
can pick them out a lot easier.
considering there's 3 other filler tobaccos in this blend,
Right.
I can taste it,
Yeah, you can isolate the flavors whenever you're smoking the finished product to get the flavors off of it, the tasting notes.
and again, I mean, like that's why we have these tasting note pages, so that like
Yeah,
hopefully when people are doing this, they could fill out their own. There's no right or wrong answer. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
sort of like, but we did have common things that we all tasted together.
Right. Right. And at the end of the day, we all love Karatoba. All 3 of us.
Yeah,
So,
it's not a question.
Well, you can even pick up some of the, like the very first tobacco we smoked with that like predominant sweetness. You can pick up sweetness from here. You just, is it coming from the filler? Is it coming from the wrapper? Is it coming a little bit of both?
Like I said, you were getting a little sweetness off of both, but like whenever you put them together, it changes the complexity of the sweetness from like the dark chocolate to a milk chocolate.
Yeah. Well,
Anytime I explain this to somebody, I always say chocolate bar. Like,
and we did the same thing before at the beginning with CAO, is that once we really hit our stride, is that all of the blends were kind of named after the tobacco that we really wanted to kind of feature, blend around that. So, for example, we had a cigar we blended around Italian tobacco, which we called Italia back in the day. But this one, the featured tobacco for sure, is the grade A quality, like Sumatra seed Ecuador. So how do you kind of blend around it so that it just doesn't feature the tobacco? That wrapper, it elevates the whole blend.
yeah.
The other thing we talk about is that, Gus was telling me that he used to work with the late Frank Inessa, who developed like Hoya de Monterey and Punch back when my dad was smoking it. And he would always walk around with like a Guayabera, and he would have always a cigar in his Guayabera in addition to what he was smoking. And he would always go like this. And Gustavo was telling me that's because whatever blend you're smoking should be so good that you want to light up the second one of that same blend. So that's the goal, to make a cigar that when you're done smoking it, you're like, you know what, I can smoke another one of these right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I
I like
agree.
the order we went through the experience. I like starting with the Firsat because this is the perfect way to end the
Oh.
behind the blend, because you get to enjoy a full Karatoba at the end.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So, is there any other points you want to hit or anything?
No,
well,
I think we hit it all.
we appreciate you coming in, sitting
Yeah,
down, giving us this experience to all of our people on YouTube from the LA Cigar Collective family and our Discord. So keep enjoying that Karatoba. Just sit back, enjoy, keep smoking House Family cigars.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you,
You guys are great.
Appreciate you. Yeah, man.
The Louisiana, LA Collective. know?
Yeah.
I'm honored to be
course.
over here with you guys.
We got some things coming in the future with Ozgener
In-
Family Cigars.
In the pipeline.
In the pipeline, if you will. So we have that to look forward to. Thanks again, Tim, coming out.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Big Rob.
And love you guys. Have a great
Take care.
rest of your evening. Enjoy.